Hey, what is up guys? Welcome back to another video. So if you're new here, definitely hit that little subscribe button. And if you're already subscribed, definitely appreciate the support. But if you're not in that phone flipping Facebook group, I do have the link down below. It's just that first link. You basically just have to answer 3 different questions, just kind of how you got there. And any questions you might have, either I can answer those personally or make a YouTube video out of them, just giving me some ideas of what you guys actually want to see on this channel. But with that said, today I'm actually going to be talking about how to deal with competition, because in the iPhone reselling industry, obviously it's been going on for a while, but honestly I'm trying to promote it as something new, because obviously phones are coming out left and right all the time, with new Androids, new iPhones, whatever it may be. But with that said, other people are going to try to buy the same phones as you. So there's a couple things you guys can do to help separate yourself from that competition. So with that said, let's get into the video. So the first piece of advice that I have for you guys, and something that I've been working on a lot, specifically within the last 2 months, is to buy and resell phones locally. And obviously you're going to be buying phones locally all the time, but to be able to resell them locally as well, you're basically reaching twice the amount of market than to be able to buy. So, and a lot of people that are ending up buying phones usually have family, and with that said, either contracts are up all the time for an entire family, so phones will come and go in sort of like a family unit. So what I mean by that is basically if one person in the family is looking for a new phone, a lot of the times 2 or 3 other people within the family, depending obviously on the size of that group of people, are looking for phones as well, and obviously you can be that reseller. But with that said, buying and really reselling locally will really get your name out there, because obviously you're reaching twice the audience, as I mentioned before, and that's where you're going to get a lot of referrals and natural organic people coming to you, where you don't even have to reach out. Simply they're going to come to you because somebody you sold or bought a phone from recommended you, because obviously you provided some sort of good customer service, or you just had good prices, whatever it may be. But this leads me into my second point, and that is great customer service. And obviously we're running a business here, and to be able to sustain a good business in any business model, you need to treat your customer as the #1 priority. And that applies to whether you're buying or selling a phone. So obviously you want to have good communication. When you're messaging people, you always want to be polite, and if something doesn't work out, you always just kind of leave on a good note, because again, in this industry, a lot of people will come back to you, even whether it be a week or 3 months later. A lot of people will come back to me with phones that they haven't sold, because obviously they were selling at too high of a price, and now they're willing to just take whatever price I had offered. And a lot of the times I'll offer them lower than what I had before, just leveraging the fact that my time was valuable, and now obviously the phone's devalued. But I always have good communication, getting in the conversation friendly, leaving with the conversation friendly. And obviously if the phone meetup goes through, you decide on a location, you just kind of have good communication. You're always updating them. If it's 8 a.m. and they can only meet at 3 p.m., I'll message them at 12, making sure they can actually meet, and then maybe a half hour before, just a confirmation. And that's obviously good customer service. They might not recognize it, but in this sense, they really do. They just might not pronounce it or anything like that. But small things do go a long way in this industry, and I really have seen that with different strategies that I've taken. But another way is just maybe even meeting halfway. Just for me in my town, a lot of people just for some reason don't have any cars. So sometimes I'll meet at a location, obviously public. So if they give me an address of their home, I'll just ask somewhere walking distance that's public, like a McDonald's next to them, saying I can go meet there, because obviously I'm looking to make a profit. If I have to drive 10-15 minutes, so be it. It's an extra $100 to $400 profit on the phone. You never really know what can come from it. Maybe it's just the one phone, or maybe it turns into 5-6 phones over the span of 6 to 12 months. And in a sense, you really just want to meet that person halfway, whether that be in price, and that means you're taking certain strategies to be able to ensure that that halfway price is a price you're willing to pay, and maybe even meeting locally halfway, because obviously you're both 2 different parties here, and you want to obviously have the equal amount of distance, just because that's fair and that's good business. But the third point, and I've mentioned this before, is just friendly during a meetup. I mentioned it before meetup, but especially during it, making small talk. As I said, I don't really make any personal conversation, but asking them how their day is. Obviously we're taking 10, 15, 20 minutes of their time, and that's probably longer than they expected, because obviously we're resellers. They're just thinking they're most of the time selling it to somebody that's going to be using the phone, but we know a lot more than the average person. So always just being friendly, making kind of small talk while you're going through it, kind of letting them forget about how much time you're actually there. And that obviously can turn into something great. I've had job offers offered to me several times simply from just making small talk, seeing that I'm a good salesperson, and small things can come from that. I mean, and especially the best thing is just having repeat customers, because obviously they might refer you to somebody else. But the third main point that I have is to build your reviews, and obviously that goes with buying and reselling locally. Same thing as eBay is when you sell something, you're obviously going to get a review for it, but with like apps like OfferUp and LetGo, not so much like Facebook or Craigslist because they don't have a review system, but those two apps, especially OfferUp, which I use the most heavily, there's a review system. And every time I meet somebody and obviously the phone goes through and like I actually buy it, I always leave off the conversation with asking them if they would politely leave a review for me. I'd really appreciate it. It would help me in the long run, just because you're trying to build some credibility or whatever. You can say whatever, but again, building up your review base obviously builds credibility in this industry, and therefore you can leverage that to get lower prices and just have more people come to you because they'll see that you have 30 to 50 stars, 5-star reviews or 4.5-star reviews on your actual app. And obviously you're going to get 4-star reviews just because, and 3 stars just because some people are greedy. But if you're taking the right steps, you shouldn't feel like obligated to like attack them or anything like that. Just go with it. Obviously the more people you build up, the stronger you're going to get to a 5-star. And I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not at a 5-star, I'm at a 4.5-star. That's just because obviously some people give me 4 stars and they consider that good, but some people are just greedy and they don't want to give that. And sometimes people just kind of get annoyed at, especially in the beginning when I was doing this, how many people were annoyed that I was taking a lot of their time. And I obviously understand it, but I tried to work them through it, and some people just don't understand. But definitely build up your reviews. It'll help you in the long run, especially in this industry, because it really isn't going anywhere. The fourth main point is to post more ads, and obviously dealing with competition. Other people are going to be putting ads, and it's basically, and honestly, it's a very similar format. And I've seen other resellers do things that I know aren't going to work. Like they'll put numbers in their ads. They just put the wrong thing and they make it look pretty sketchy. But if you follow the tips that I have in this like YouTube channel, and you do the things that I do specifically because they have worked for me and they should be working for you, putting up more ads and having them be as effective as possible will get you a bigger review. Will obviously get you more phones, and therefore you're going to be reaching more people than your other audience. And a lot of the times other people have told me that, oh, this person offered another price, but I seemed like a more trustworthy person. And sometimes that other person will be your competitor or something like that. But simply because we have a good review base, we have good customer service, we've just been nice. And especially if you're willing to meet halfway, they'll be willing to actually sell you the phone, even if it's a lesser price, because a lot of the resellers that I've seen make them come, like people go to them, which honestly I think it's kind of greedy, especially in this business model. Yeah, if you leverage it, if you've been doing this for a long time, you can, but and then obviously it depends on your town. Like mine isn't that big, so obviously I would 10-15 minutes is halfway any point in my town. But if you're in a bigger town, obviously 10 to 15 minutes should be enough phones in that vicinity to be able to buy and resell and have a good amount of profit with that. But again, just post as many ads as you can, beating out your competition. No flag them. I never really flag any others because I just think it's greedy and it isn't like a good business decision. But people will take down your ads, especially competition, because they see they don't want your ads up versus theirs. So I'll just put up more ads with them, and they're not going to take down every single one. They'll get frustrated, and obviously who cares if they're not your best friend, whatever. This is a business. We're trying to outweigh them in a sense. We're trying to have more profit than them. So, but again, just treat it as like you're doing you. You just have to put out more ads, and there's no problem with that. You're not going to get banned as long as you take the steps that I say in this video based on a certain platform. And the fifth point, honestly, the most important piece of advice that I have for you guys, and to beat your competition, is to ask for referrals. Because as I said, most people don't know that you can just go sell a phone randomly. A lot of them will just exchange it in at their carrier store for another phone, when in reality they could be getting more money selling it to people like us, even though we take a little bit, we're buying these pretty low. That could be more than an AT&T store would buy them for, simply because obviously they're greedy. They're a big enough brand where they could say they're buying a $300 phone for 50 bucks, and people are like, oh, whatever. They're a schemy business. But obviously we're trying to build a good business model. So always ask for referrals. At the end of the conversation, even if it doesn't work out, I will always ask them if they have anybody else that would be interested in selling or is looking for a phone, because obviously we're running a business here. I mean, obviously you can only do that if you build trust in them, and that's through doing like the small talk, just having like a good kind of conversation with them throughout the 10-15 minutes that you're with them, checking the phone. But one thing I'm going to be starting to do is make some business cards. Just having my name and like my phone number and maybe my email on there, and maybe just like a brand name, creating some sort of like brand recognition for myself as an iPhone like buy and reseller. So I think it'll be very beneficial because those cards will get handed out, even if it only gets a 5% retention rate. That's an extra $500 potentially for me every single month. And obviously that's a lot of money. That could be an extra, that could be paying your rent, and that could be obviously something you could be doing. And if you don't like want to make business cards, something I'm not doing but have been doing in the past is exchanging contact information. That's just simply putting in your name and your number into their cell phone, and just like maybe putting in like the description of the person, which would be you, just putting like iPhone buyer and seller. So it's just something they can always refer to, and maybe they don't see it for a couple months. They see your name, they're like, oh, I met that guy or girl. I actually have a phone I'm looking to buy or sell, and they're going to contact you. Obviously, I'm in this for the long run. I hope you guys are too, because I said it's not going anywhere. But I hope those 5 tips help you guys. I think they will really separate you from your competition, and I have seen a lot of success using these tips. These are things that I kind of wish that I knew in the beginning, simply because I just wasn't taking these actions from the beginning, and I think it kind of affected me in those couple months. But now I've been doing it kind of consistently, taking these actions, and I've really seen like a downfall. A lot of the people in my town that used to be iPhone flippers, simply because I think I'm beating them out in the fact that I'm having good customer service, putting out more ads, and they're just getting frustrated. And it's a great feeling because I'm not really doing anything wrong. I'm just creating a better business model than them. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Again, hit that little subscribe button down below, just that little red button. And if you're not in that phone flipping Facebook group, it's that first link down below. Just click it. It's free to join. Again, you just have to answer 3 simple questions. Should take you 20 seconds. With that said, have a great Easter Sunday, and I'll see you tomorrow in the next video.